The movie opens with a young woman named Sarah looking at herself in the mirror. She works at a fast food restaurant called Big Taters. She places a customer order and tries to check something on her phone, but her boss, Carl, tells her to check it on her break. Later, she goes to her theater training, but she has difficulty memorizing the script and forgets to look up while performing. She goes to the restroom and screams in anger before ripping her hair out as a way of punishing herself. Later, at her home, while checking her email, she sees that she has received a message from a big movie company called Asterius Pictures. It is a job description stating that they are looking for a young female actor to star in an upcoming horror movie called The Silver Screen. Sarah quickly uses this opportunity and submits her resume. Sarah later goes to a party with her roommate Tracy and meets with her friends Danny, Aaron, Ashley, and Poe. Danny and Aaron tell Sarah that they have been producing a movie of their own and they like Sarah to be a part of it. Aaron says she is surprised Sarah came to the party. And when Sarah asks her why, she says that she thought Sarah was avoiding her because she stole her role for a TV commercial they applied before. She tells Sarah to be glad she didn't get it as she says the director was kind of a pervert. While they are having a drink, Aaron and Ashley start acting out like a child, annoying Sarah. She goes out and starts going to her home. Danny follows her and asks her if she is going to be in his movie, and suddenly she gets a message on her phone. She gets happy and tells Danny and the group that she has been called for an audition by Asterius Pictures for a horror movie. All of them get happy for her, but Aaron again becomes jealous and tries to ruin the mood by telling Sarah that she hopes it is a working title. Later, Sarah is auditioning for the movie and she starts forgetting the script and keeps looking down to read. The script starts to lose some words in between, and as she keeps looking down, the script loses more words. Sarah starts to get nervous and apologizes to the judges. Then blood starts to drip on the script and Sarah sees it is coming from her hair. The blood covers her face and Sarah begins to freak out before she wakes up from her nightmare. The next day, Sarah goes to the audition and starts practicing her script alongside many women there. She sees a woman coming out of the auditioning room crying. Sarah then gets called out and goes into the room. There are two judges there. The male judge tells her that she leaves the room in two ways. She either leaves making a lasting impression or she leaves like many other forgotten girls who didn't pass. Sarah turns around and reads the script one more time before she starts acting. The male judge reads the second character from the script while Sarah plays the first. She acts well, but the judges tell her they will be in touch while they show a disappointed face. Sarah tells them she can do it again differently if they didn't like what they saw, but they tell her they saw what they needed. Sarah leaves the room broken. She gets into the washroom and throws her bag around while she screams, unleashing her anger. She starts to cry before she holds her hair and starts ripping it out. She finally calms herself down and opens the door to find the female judge waiting. She tells Sarah that maybe they didn't see all they needed from her. They call her to the audition room once again. The female judge asks her what she was doing in the washroom and Sarah says she was disappointed in herself and that's why she acted out like that. The female judge asks her if she would do it for them, but Sarah tells them she has never done it in front of other people. The judge tells her she can leave. Having no choice, Sarah begins to slowly rip her hair out, and soon she falls onto the ground screaming and acting out all berserk. Unfortunately, the judges, while looking surprised, tell her they will be in touch. Sarah leaves the building, now ashamed of what she has done. She goes to her home and Tracy asks her how it go and Sarah tells her in a disappointed voice that they made fun of her. Tracy tells her everyone is coming by and she should hang out with them, but Sarah says she wants to be alone. She sits in her room looking at the portraits of famous actors while her friends have fun. The next day, Sarah was at her work when her phone began to ring. She goes outside and picks it up. It is the male judge, and he tells her they would like to see her again, making her happy. Sarah accepts, and he tells her that it is going to be different this time. Carl summons her to his office due to breaking the rules by using her phone during work time. He tells her that he understands that auditioning is important to her, but he tells her that she needs to prioritize her job first. Sarah says she has a gift and says she wants to quit since the job is getting in her way. Carl tries to bring some sense into her, but Sarah leaves the room. She later goes to the audition and is sent into a dark room. From the dark, the male judge tells her to stand on the red dot. He starts recording before a spotlight shines on her. He tells her to go naked, confusing Sarah. She says the role didn't say anything about nudity. The female judge tells her that they already saw she can act, and now they want to see her letting go of her inner inhibition. She tells them that she thought she did that the last time, and the female judge tells her that is the only reason they call her back. Sarah then slowly begins to take her clothes off. She stands in the light with only her bra and her underwear. The female judge tells her to take off everything. Not wanting to get rejected, Sarah takes off everything. The spotlight slowly turns off before it suddenly starts flashing on her. The male judge tells her to relax herself. The light continues to flash while Sarah is not comfortable. The female judge asks her how she can be transformed into something else if she cannot fully let herself go. Sarah slowly begins to relax, and after a few seconds, she starts to have fun. Each time the light shines on Sarah starts to grow sharp teeth and begins to transform into a demonic entity. The female judge approaches her and tells her that this is what they are looking for, and Sarah sees the Illuminati mark on her necklace. Sarah leaves the building, now much happier than the last time. She goes back to her home to find her friends having fun. Erin tries to trash her work by saying that the ad description is kind of silly, and asks if she thinks that she is going to get it. Danny congratulates her and tells her to put a word for him too with the production, and Pia works. Later, Sarah gets a phone call from the female judge, who tells her that the producer wants to meet her. Sarah puts on her best outfit and goes out to find all her friends watching a movie. All of them tell her how amazing she looks, while Erin says she is overdressed. She goes to the building and the female judge takes her to the producer's room. Before Sarah walks in, the judge tells her to be herself. Inside, she meets the producer, who is an older man. He tells her that many big actors have passed through where she is now. He says that this project is his love letter to the world, where he wants to show the darkest of human desire and ambition, and tells her that is why they chose her. He tells her that this is a great opportunity for a young actress like her with no other credits to her name, and tells her she would be on the poster of every movie theater in the world. Sarah tells him that she will do whatever it takes to get the role. He tells her that he thinks she will be great for the role while he approaches her. He sits beside her and tells her that the world is about the doers, the people who don't just talk about what they're going to do, they just do it, and tell her that is her. Sarah thanks him and gets emotional before the producer puts his hand on her lap. Sarah gets nervous and tries to get out of the situation by trying to talk to him about the movie's script, but the producer slowly starts to get his hand inside her privates as he tells her he can make her a star. Sarah had enough and gets up before she leaves the room. She goes back home and Tracy asks her how it was, to which Sarah says not good. Then Erin rudely comments that she should submit her own headshot, making Sarah more sad. Tracy follows her to calm her down. She finds her crying under her bed sheets. Sarah tells her that she quit her job for this and now she has nothing. Tracy asks her what happened, and Sarah tells her that the producer tried to have sex with her. Tracy tells her that she shouldn't be disappointed because no one would have done it. She tells her that Danny wants her in his movie and she should talk to him. The next day, Sarah goes back to her regular job asking Carl for forgiveness. He tells her that the job might not be fancy enough for her, but it is valuable for him. He tells her to respect him in the job until she surely becomes a movie star. She later meets with her friends, and Erin, as always, makes a rude comment on how she is back slumming like the rest of them. Sarah gets annoyed by how Erin acts, making her sit alone. Danny goes to her and tells her that it is his couch since he lives in a car. He tells her that he heard what happened from Tracy and says that how they are living now should not keep them from achieving their dreams. He tells her that they should band together with the others and make something that is worth it. He tells her that he is going to send her his movie script and tells her that she is going to love it. She asks him if she is going to be the lead actress, and Danny says she will be if she wants, and Sarah agrees to work on his project. They later swim with the rest of the group and have fun. Sarah suddenly remembers what the producer said to her, that she is a doer, and how he is going to make her a star. She rushes back to her room where she calls Astrius Pictures and apologizes to the judge that she made a mistake the first time and asks for a second chance. The judge gives her a location and tells her to be there on time. Sarah goes to the location, which is a luxurious house. The judge takes her in and tells her that there won't be a third chance before she sends her to the producer. Sarah apologizes for her previous behavior. She starts to feel dizzy and falls to the ground. The producer asks her how far she would go to make him believe in her again. He asks her if she would forego her eyes for a new pair of eyes that see with their vision, referring to the secret society. He asks her if she would give up her body to become a vessel and give up her old life for a new glorious life, and Sarah says yes. He asks her to show him, and Sarah unzips his pants and starts to go off. The producer tells her that the gateway has opened, and all she has to do is be willing to step inside forever and never look back. He tells her to kill her old life and join them, as a group of masked people comes out and starts watching them. Sarah wakes up the next morning in her bed. She is beginning to feel sick. She goes back to her work and Carl notices she is unwell. He tells her to take the day off and tries to take the ordered food from her, but Sarah insists on serving it herself. She makes him spill the food before she slaps him in front of his employees. Carl tells her to get out and never come back. Sarah goes home and calls Astrius Pictures, where she tells them that she is not feeling well and tells them to call her back when they get this message. She later goes out with her friends but is too sick to do or say anything. She gets up and starts acting strangely as Poe starts recording her. Tracy defends her and takes Poe's phone away, but Sarah pushes her off before she runs off. She goes to Astrius Pictures but finds it closed. A homeless man tries to check in on her, but Sarah screams at him and pushes him off. Later, while at home, Sarah notices that her hair is falling off. Tracy tries to check in on her, but Sarah tries to do inappropriate things, forcing Tracy to push her off. Sarah blames her for telling the group about her and the producer and asks her if they laugh off of her behind her back for seeing her fail. But Tracy tells her that they are her friends and would never do something like that. Sarah tells her that they are the ones responsible for her failure and tells her that they are living off of her. Tracy tells her that she was the one who paid her rent for the last 2 months and tells her that she should be focused on her real job rather than her dreams. Sarah goes back to her room and finds a package on her table. She opens it and finds stacks of money. She goes out and throws the money on Tracy and tells her that it is their house now. She goes back to her room and sleeps under her bed sheet. Suddenly, the female judge appears and gags her mouth. She tells her to sleep as they want to show her something. Sarah wakes up to find a better-looking version of her becoming successful. Sarah spends the night suffering as she remembers all the rude things her friends said to her. She goes to the bathroom and sees that her nails are coming off. She looks at the mirror to find most of her hair gone, and blood comes out of her mouth. She also finds some kind of liquid coming out of her private parts. She goes and sits inside the bath as something begins moving inside her. She vomits it and is shocked to find that it is a whole swarm of worms. She drags herself out of the bathroom and makes her way to her bedroom. She picks up her phone and calls Astria's Pictures. The producer talks to her while he laughs at her. Sarah tells him that she is dying, and he tells her that she indeed is dying. He tells her that she is going into the ground and will be forgotten or she can be reborn. Sarah goes outside in the middle of the night. We hear the producer telling her that dreams require sacrifices and that it would be painful. She goes to her friend's house and gets in quietly. She opens the first room to find Poe and Ashley sleeping. She goes out to the backyard to Danny's car and hears Aaron and him talking. Aaron says she needs to use the restroom back at the house and gets out. After she finishes using the restroom, she goes to the refrigerator to grab water but gets scared by Sarah, who is standing in the dark. Sarah tells her that Danny gave her the lead role because she had sex with him, but Aaron tells her it's sad she sees the world like that. She tells Sarah that she and Danny have hooked up before and they like each other. Sarah laughs at her and tells her that she doesn't want anything they have and says she wouldn't sink so low. Aaron says why Sarah would have sex with Danny for a small movie role when she already had sex with a big-time movie producer. She makes fun of her for getting intimate with an old man. Aaron turns the lights on and is shocked to find Sarah in her current state. Aaron tries to take her to the hospital, but Sarah picks up a kitchen knife and slashes Aaron's face. Blood immediately begins to flow from Aaron's face before she falls onto the ground. Sarah begins to panic before she rips what's left of her hair and sees that it is covered in blood. She drops it onto the ground. Aaron begins to get up, but Sarah comes back into the room and stabs her. She repeatedly stabs her until she falls to the ground. Sarah looks at her as Aaron struggles to breathe. Just then, Poe comes out of his room, but he is too sleepy to notice anything and says hi to Sarah before he gets into the restroom. Sarah goes into Poe's bedroom where she picks up a dumbbell. She goes over to Ashley, who is sleeping. Sarah begins to smash Ashley's face with the dumbbell multiple times until her face and head are unrecognizable. Poe comes back into the room and notices the horrific sight of his girlfriend. He tries to run, but he steps on Sarah's hair on the ground, making him slip and fall to the ground. Sarah reaches him and stabs him in the back numerous times with the kitchen knife until he is dead. She then sees Aaron crawling to the door. She follows her and covers her face with a plastic bag to suffocate her. Aaron struggles for a while until she loses air and dies. Back at the car, Danny gets worried and opens the door to find Sarah sitting in the dark. He asks her if she saw Aaron, and Sarah tells him they just talked. He asks her what they talked about, and she says it's about him. Danny tells her that they are all worried about her and tells her he can help her since he is her friend. Sarah tells him that he is not her friend and neither are the others. Danny approaches her and notices her face, and before he can do anything, Sarah stabs him. He stumbles and sits beside her as Sarah pushes the knife deeper. She takes off her hoodie and tells him that she does not have any friends. She begins to stab him multiple times as he begs her not to. He asks her why she did it, and Sarah tells him that there is only one thing she wants in the world, and says they are going to give it to her since they know the real her. Danny slowly dies as she sits beside him. Then masked people start to come out from the dark and they circle her. We see a whole bunch of rich people traveling in the hills in the middle of the night. They have put Sarah in a plastic bag as they circle her. Sarah remembers all she has been through in the past as the possession begins. All the people, including the producer and the judges, start screaming Hail Astrius as some kind of ritual. They put lights on the Illuminati star mark as they continue to scream Hail Astrius. Sarah begins to rip out of the plastic and the producer says she is ready to transform. In the morning, Sarah gets out of the ground fully bald and covered in mud. She finds a package there with a note that says happy birthday. She takes the package and goes. Back at the house, Tracy returns and sees muddy footprints on the ground. She goes to Sarah's room to find a bunch of candles lit up across the room as Sarah is covered in a bedsheet. Tracy goes over to her and apologizes for telling everyone her secrets. She pulls down the bed sheets to find Sarah lying there naked. Suddenly, the door closes shut and Sarah holds her hands. Tracy sees Sarah's eyes have turned green. Sarah asks her to lie beside her. Tracy, despite not wanting to do that, lays down next to her. Sarah turns to her before she kisses her. She starts to suck Tracy's blood out until she is dead. Sarah then goes over and gets dressed. She opens the package to find a hair. She puts it on before she finally puts the star necklace on.